Silence!
Kassadin Guide Season 9. Hey guys, Zoose here and welcome to this ultimate guide. Kassadin, the Voidwalker, has long been one of the most feared champs. Ask any longtime player about Season 3 Kassadin and they'll tell you of the horrors they suffered against this terrifying late game monster. This guide uses the best stat websites from the best solo queue and pro players. It contains in-game footage from ranked games, combos, matchups, tips and more. It will help you emulate their playstyle if you follow most of the information. There is timestamps below to all the section in the description, if you're after something specific right now. Remember to save it to a playlist and come back when it's convenient for you since it's a pretty long video. If you're thinking about trying Kassadin soon, hit that like button just so I can see how many of you are interested. Before we get into the main content, let's quickly go over the abilities. Kassadin's passive takes 15% reduced damage from AP, making him strong against many AP matchups, and he's also able to walk through units, which basically means he can't be blocked by champs, minions, and monsters. His Q is a click target ability which deals AP, grants him a magic shield, allowing him to absorb some AP damage. His Q can also interrupt channeled abilities. His W has two parts, a passive which increases his basic attack damage, and an active that increases his auto attack range by 50, deals extra AP damage, and restores missing mana. The mana restore is 4 times as much on enemy champs. His E is an AoE, AP damage, and slow in a cone right in front of him. Kassadin needs 6 stacks to use this ability. He gains 1 stack per ability used by him or any nearby champs, even enemy champs. Finally, his ultimate, Riftwalk, allows him to blink to a target location, damaging all enemies on arrival. It scales off AP and mana. This is the ability that truly makes Kass one of the most feared champs when fed. At level 16, he can use this almost every 1 second at 40% CDR. For skill order, you want to max Q first, E, then W. There are 2 major runes taken by 99% of the top solo queue and pro players. Fleet Footwork and Electrocute. Let's first go over Fleet Footwork. Here is a cheat sheet if you want to try this out ASAP. Very rarely seen mid, Fleet Footwork's main purpose is to help Kassadin sustain through his toughest and most vulnerable stage of the game, laning phase. He gains HP and some movement speed every time he orders an enemy at 100 stacks. He charges these stacks by moving or attacking. The first minor rune from the Precision Path is a close call between Triumph and Presence of Mind. Triumph is best if health is a priority, helping you restore 12% of missing HP and granting you 20 gold after a takedown. Presence of Mind is best if mana is a priority, restoring 20% of your maximum mana and refunding 10% of your ultimate's cooldown, which is not that important since his cooldown is already pretty low. This gives Kass insane potential to clean up fights, especially when his ult will cost 800 mana after 4+ stacks. You can't really go wrong with either one. Triumph is great for some really close fights and can be the difference between you backing out after taking serious damage, restoring missing HP, giving him enough HP to go back into a fight. Presence of Mind is also great, however you'll already have plenty of mana from Roa and Seraphs, so if you can carefully manage your mana usage, it won't always be necessary. Legend Tenacity as the second minor rune. Kassadin gains 5% Tenacity plus 2.5% every stack, for a maximum of 30%. Stacks are gained mainly from champion and epic monster takedowns, and some from large monsters and minions. This is perfect for a champ like Kassadin, who needs to get deep into teamfights and is therefore vulnerable to CC. The final rune is Coup de Grace. This helps Kass deal 7% more damage to champions below 40% HP, additionally gaining extra 15 AP on every takedown for the next few seconds. This works great for Kass's cleanup playstyle, securing kills on low HP targets. The most common second path for Fleet Footwork is Domination. Taste of Blood helps heal HP whenever you damage an enemy. This is mostly procced off your Q in lane, great for sustain and early laning. Ravenous Hunter is the final rune. Heals you for 1.5% of your damage from abilities, on-hit effects, and items. You gain 2.5% per stack, up to 14% at 5 stacks per unique takedown. Although it's mostly effective later on, it still helps Kass a little early on. The second most popular major rune is Electrocute. Here's a cheat sheet for that. In easier to medium lanes, the healing sustained from Fleet Footwork isn't necessary, so Kassadin gains extra damage from this rune. It's quite hard to proc this rune consistently before level 6 against most laners, considering you need to Q, E, and an auto to proc this as a melee champ is pretty difficult to get up close, but he should have no problem after level 6. Taste of Blood for some sustain, or if HP sustain isn't an issue in an easier lane, grab Sudden Impact for that extra magic and armor pen procced every time Kassadin presses R, his Riftwalk. Eyeball Collection for the second minor rune. Granting him AP for every takedown, this helps Cass slightly snowball. The final rune is Ravenous Hunter. Again, the HP sustain is great, especially later on when fully stacked. The second path is Sorcery. Transcendence grants Cass 10% CDR at level 10. This rune will help cap your CDR at 40% once you have Archangel Staff, Zhonyas, and Lich Bane. The final rune is Gathering Storm. The ultimate scaling rune fits into Kassadin's late game scaling playstyle. Once you reach that 30 minutes AP from this rune and are level 16, you will be a complete terror to deal with. Your potential to carry is insane. The most common and cost-effective start is Dark Seal plus Refillable Potion. This provides good stats for Cass's laning phase, plus the increased healing from potions. After a few backs to base, you'll save gold from not having to buy HP potions. Even if you get poked early, you can always back and take TP for an even safer lane. More on that in summoner spells and matchups. Doran Shield can be good in some lanes. Even if you take poke or rough trades, you can simply play passive and allow the HP regen this provides to keep you healthy. You can pick up a Dark Seal plus Refillable on your way back if you still want that. Corrupting Potion is another popular start. Although it provides no stats, the health plus mana regen and the extra damage from the burn may be optimal for some lanes. Again, you can grab a Dark Seal on your first back if you'd like. If you start a Dark Seal plus Refillable, you can always upgrade the Refillable into a Corrupting Potion. First major buy is Rod of Ages. AP, HP plus mana, it provides everything Kassadin needs. Each stat increases over 10 minutes. It also has a great passive which restores mana when you take damage from a champ and restores HP when you spend mana. You want to rush this item so you start scaling ASAP. The tankiness this item provides is necessary in most games, where you need to position aggressively to output optimal damage. Now before you purchase your second tier boots, I would suggest purchasing a tier. You want to start stacking this immediately. Once you have a fully stacked Seraph's Embrace, you'll not only have plenty of AP and mana, but a chunky shield active which can be used to absorb damage. With this item plus roll, you'll have enough mana and damage to use those 800 mana Riftwalks and completely decimate enemy champs. Right after your tier, you should complete your second tier boots. Sorcery boots provide Magic Pen, great item for damage. Ninja Tabis are necessary for heavy AD teams. In fact, you should probably rush this item in some lanes against things like Zed, Talon, Yasuo, Aatrox. Mercury Treads are great against heavy AP and CC teams. With the Legend Tenacity rune fully stacked and these boots, you'll have 60% Tenacity. Almost all CC at this point will have little effect on you. A rare but still viable choice is Ionian boots. Cheaper than the previous choices, they can be useful if you're desperate for second tier boots and you need a CDR. Perhaps if you don't plan on purchasing one of the other CDR items, this may be okay, but you really do lose a lot of valuable stats compared to the other three boots. After your core build of Roa, second tier boots and Seraphs has been completed, the next items are mostly situational in terms of the order you purchase them. The next solid choice is Lich Bane. AP mana movement speed and the important damage from that auto passive, you'll one-shot most squishies. Don't be afraid to build Rabadon's Deathcap if you find yourself snowballing hard though. You'll deal insane AoE damage from your ult and E. After level 16, that's AoE Riftwalk damage every single second. Zhonya's is the safest but still just as important. A great active when you go in deep, try to use this after you output as much damage as possible. The invulnerability should give you enough time for your abilities to come off cooldown and then you can decide whether you want to continue fighting or simply back off by rift walking out. Void Staff might be necessary if enemies start stacking MR. You can upgrade your Dark Seal to Mejai's anytime you are ahead and have a good chance to snowball the game. I would still recommend this after your Roa and tier since you still want a consistent build to fall back on if you end up dying and losing all your Mejai stacks. Morellonomicon is great against heavy healing comps. The Grievous Wound passive can be the difference between losing and winning a teamfight against some team comps, so keep this in mind. Banshees is a safe defensive option against any CC that can pick you out late game. First summoner spell is Flash. Even though Kassadin has a blink every few seconds on his ult, he'll still need this early game whether to survive ganks or pick up kills, as well as the after 6 to perform an Ult Flash Combo. The second summoner is a close call between Ignite and TP. If you're in an easy to medium lane and have a chance to pick up kills, take Ignite. TP is the safer and more consistent option. In most medium to hard matchups, you'll take plenty of poke and rough trades, so you'll need to back for health or you'll risk dying. TP back to lane to make sure you pick up as much CS as possible. Cass's main priority early game is just to survive lane. This also gives you an option to split push, TPing whenever you need to join a fight or help a team for an objective. Let's quickly go over animation cancel before we move on to combos. Kassa's W is an auto attack reset. Simply auto then W. This will allow you to get a quick auto before your W damage. His main trade combo before 6. Assuming you can get close enough, Q, E, auto and W. Things to keep in mind. You should Q to shield yourself from AP whenever it's best. E slow will allow you to close distance for an auto then W. If you can't get close enough for an auto, just use W's extended range. This combo is great to proc Electrocute before 6. The main optimal combo, if you're going to Riftwalk on top of them, is R, auto attack, W, E, and Q. You can use Q whenever you want to absorb magic damage, so timing for that is essential. Using it first or last though is the most efficient. Optimal combo if you need a gap close. R, E, auto attack, W, then Q. The E is important right after R because of the slow. It also has a slightly lower range than Q. If you were to Q first and they were a max Q range, you wouldn't be able to get your E damage off. Huge gap closer with ult damage. Ult instantly flash to target location, then the normal combo. You need to instantly flash after your ult to apply the Riftwalk damage. Strengths. Insane mobility. From level 6 onwards, Kassadin can Riftwalk to any target location. That's pretty much flash every 6 seconds, down to 1 second at level 16. Teamfights. With the ability to get to the backline with ease, he is a constant threat. He does plenty of AoE and single target damage, instantly popping any squishies that are out of position. Insane scaling. As long as you can stall enough to get to level 16, you'll have so much AP and mana to Riftwalk every second for damage and mobility. Ganking. Once past level 6, you'll have decent gank potential. You can Riftwalk through areas of the map where there is the least warding, allowing you to sneak up on any bot and top laner. Split push and backdoor threat. Your options at mid to late are vast. Not only do you have the mobility to escape anytime the enemy tries to gank you while you're split pushing, if you have Lich Bane, you can take towers really fast. Come late game, if the enemy ever lets their guard down, you can go for that game winning play and backdoor for the win. He is strong against AP champs. A 15% damage reduction against magic damage passive and an AP shield on your Q, plus building Roa, you'll seem like a tank against any AP champs. Weaknesses. Laning phase, specifically pre-level 6. He is extremely vulnerable to most matchups early game. He's a melee champ, which makes it hard to trade back with autos against ranged champs. Your Q is the only effective way of dealing damage from a safe range, so play safe when it's down. The runes and items so far mentioned in this guide should help you through this. Hard CC. He may have a blink every few seconds on his R, but any hard CC will stop him from being useful. He needs to get close to output most damage, so keep track of key abilities from enemy champs. Once they've used that CC or you feel like it's safe, it's your time to go in. A well-timed Zhonya's can also save you, against some CC. Weak against AD champs. Champs like Zed, Yasuo, Talon, Aatrox have the potential to burst and out-trade you even after level 6. Your passive and Q shield are useless against these champs. Early Ninja Tabis and Zhonya's Rush may be a viable solution. He lacks pressure from early invades. If the enemy jungler decides to invade your team, you'll struggle to be any sort of threat. Most of the time you'll find yourself farming under tower, so moving towards jungle will likely mean you'll risk losing CS. Make sure if you do decide to go for a 2v2 skirmish with your jungler early on, your wave is at least even or the enemies are already low health. Wave clear. Without Riftwalk, his wave clear isn't so good. His E does AoE, but it requires 6 stacks for it to be useful, and unless there's champs nearby for more stacks, he pushes slowly on his own. Ban rate. He currently has around a 20% ban rate, so even if you put a lot of time to learn this champion, there's a chance that Kassadin will be banned. Make sure to select Cass before the ban phase so at least your team doesn't ban it, hopefully. Let's go over some other important tips. Your Q is your bread and butter in lane. Use it to poke, absorb damage, and CS. It procs immediately after clicking a target, so time it to absorb AP damage. You can still proc the shield on a minion, so use it if you need to absorb damage but the enemy is too far away. Try to use your W on a champ anytime you get the chance, since you get 4 times the mana compared to minions. Charge your ult before an engage. Early game you want to be careful with your mana usage, but later on charge it to 400 or 800 for an optimal damage combo. Charge it in base before a TP to start a fight at full mana. I recommend having at least 75% mana before a fight, or you can risk going in. You can charge your tier quicker by using Riftwalks to get back to lane. This also helps you get to lane faster. Try to keep it under 400 mana per ult. Keep track of important CCs in a fight. This is the main threat that will keep you from wiping out the enemy team. Hard engage when you want to bait out a team fight by Riftwalking in, pressing Zhonyas the second you are at risk, and let your team follow up. Even if you find yourself low HP after a bad engage, try to stick around for the team fight just to finish off low HP targets. Your cleanup potential is insane. Before we get into individual matchups, let's go over what makes matchups easy, medium, or hard. Easy matchups are low kill threats. They are mostly AP because of Cass's passive and magic shield. They allow Cass to get to 6 safely and are generally easy to kill, specifically when Cass reaches level 6. A medium matchup is usually skill based. Dodging abilities can be the difference in heavy poke lanes. They have decent kill potential if you misplay. They make it hard for Cass to farm safely, and even when Cass does reach 6, he still can't walk all over them. A hard matchup usually means even if skill is equal, the champion has advantage over Cass. They can outtrade Cass even with his full combo and have a high kill potential. AD champs render Cass's passive and Q shield useless. Cass will find it hard to safely farm in these lanes. Some lanes, the only way to stay even or get ahead is through ganks. It's easy matchups. Annie. Q poker whenever you can. Stay back when it's down. Use your Q shield to absorb her Q damage. Watch out for a stun, which is 4 stacks under her health bar. If you have Catalyst and full HP, her kill potential at level 6 is low. Go for hard trades at level 6. Merc trades is a solid choice, making it almost impossible for her to kill you at this stage. Anivia. Her slow moving Q is easy to dodge, or simply absorb it with your Q shield. You can cancel her ult with your Q. She's hard to kill with her egg passive. She's little threat when you're level 6. Aurelion Soul. Very easy to dodge his abilities or soak AP damage with your Q shield. He has very little kill pressure on you. The problem is that he'll constantly push waves and roam, so ward and ping your teammates. You can cancel his activated W stars with Q. At level 6 you can dodge his Q with your ult and go aggressive. Brand. Dodge and absorb damage with your Q shield. Watch out for his stun from his Q when you're already ablaze. At level 6 you can easily dodge his main damage from W. Go for hard trades and all in him, if he ever misses these abilities. Don't stay too close to minions for his ult to bounce. Corki. Q spam him when it's up, play passive when it's down. As long as you don't let him get too many autos off and dodge his slow moving Q projectile, he's little to no threat. Just farm and go for hard trades at level 6. Diana. Dodge or absorb her Q damage, which is her only source of poke. She's a melee champ as well, so look for hard trades, especially with your W for that extra mana sustain. Try to avoid her third auto, which does extra damage. If she ever misses Q after 6, go in for hard trades. Ekko. Dodge or soak his Q damage with your Q shield. If he ever blinks to you, go for a hard trade back. Just watch out for his stun and you'll be fine. He's pretty hard to kill after 6 with his ult up. Go for hard trades and all in him when it's down. Katarina. Absorb her Q poke with your Q shield. If she ever jumps on you or near you, go for hard trades back, making sure you get that W off. You can cancel her ultimate with your Q or just Riftwalk out of the range. Karthus. His Q skill shots are easy to dodge or simply absorb them with your Q shield. Watch out for his W slow since it's usually followed up by a gank. You can cancel his ultimate with a Q. Go for hard trades when you're level 6. Lux. She has safe poke, but you can absorb most of her damage with your Q. You can use Q on a minion for the shield since she's usually too far away. She pushes with her E, making it a pretty safe farm lane. After level 6, if she ever wastes her Q snare, punish her with a hard trade and look to all in her. Malzahar, low kill threat. If he ever E's you, just Q to absorb his damage over time and he won't be able to push. If he E's a minion, just walk up to him and Q him anyway. After level 4 he'll push pretty fast. Just watch out for his flash ultimate at level 6 when it's followed up by a gank. Orianna, Q spam when it's up, back off when it's down. Respect her Q and auto harass until level 6. At level 6 you can go for hard trades if she ever QWs. Just Riftwalk to dodge it and punish her. You have a chance to dodge her ultimate with yours, so be ready. Rise. You can absorb his Q with yours. He has a click target snare, which is the main danger. Don't stand too close to minions or his E or Q will spread to you. Level 6 you can go for hard trades if he uses his abilities to wave clear. You can cancel his ultimate with your Q. Syndra, if you time your Q with hers, you'll win the trade. Still respect her range and her stun. At level 6, use your Riftwalk to trade whenever her stun is down. Just don't let her poke you down or she'll finish you off with her click target ultimate. Twisted Fate, block his Q or W damage with your Q shield. Spam Q while it's up, back off when it's down. You can interrupt his ult with your Q if you're close enough. He will just wave clear and look to roam, so ward just over the river walls and ping your teammates when he's level 6. Veigar. He's weak early, which means you just need to farm and it's a free lane. Q spam him. Try to dodge his Qs so he can't get free stacks. Watch out for his ECC, followed up by a gank. If you're ever below 30% HP at level 6, he can probably finish you with his ult. Ziggs. All his abilities are skill shots, so dodge and absorb with your Q shield. He will likely push the wave, so just farm and get to level 6. Q poke when you can. You can go for hard trades at level 6 with your ult. You can Riftwalk out of his ultimate at any time and most of his abilities, so keep that in mind. Medium lanes. Ahri. She pushes hard with her Q, so she'll get a lot of free autos on you while you're farming under tower. Use your Q shield to block some damage. Watch out for her charm since it's the main threat. You beat her after 6, so go for hard trades. Just try not to Riftwalk right onto her when her charm is up. Akali. She'll Q you if you get too close. You can Q to absorb her Q damage and back off if she goes for an empowered auto. You can always trade back if you have E and W up. Back off while she's in Shroud. Go for trades while it's down. She has potential to kill you at level 6. Stay at full HP so she never gets the chance. If she uses the first ultimate, just back off until her second ult expires. You can go for an all-in while her ult is down. Azir. Respect his insane poke early on and avoid being within his soldier range. Spam your Q while it's up and play passive when it's down. At level 6 you can go extremely aggressive if he uses his Q. Just don't let him wall ult you into his tower. Cassiopeia. Respect her insane damage early on. If she ever hits a Q, use your Q to soak up some poison damage and just back off so she doesn't spam E. At level 6 her grounded poison is a hazard since it disables your Riftwalk. If she ever misses a Q and wastes W, go for a hard trade and look to all in. Learn to read her body language when she's about to ult and face away or she'll stun you. Galio. Respect his EWQ combo as he can chunk you from full health to below 50%. If he ever wastes his E or Q, go for a hard trade. Try to get your W on him for that extra mana sustain. Easy to dodge his abilities at level 6 with your Riftwalk. You can cancel his ult with your Q if you're close enough. Fizz. A slight skill matchup. Q poke him, dodge his main damage from his E jump. Since you can't Q him in mid-air, if you think he'll land it, just Q a minion for the shield and back off. His E cooldown is long early on, so abuse him while it's down. After 6, you have the potential to dodge his ultimate with yours. If he hits his ult, just ult back to safety. Without his ultimate, he has very low kill pressure on you, so go for hard trades and all in him when you can. LeBlanc. This can be easily won if you time your Q whenever she dashes on you, then immediately trade back with W auto, then E. You'll win trades if you consistently do this. Just watch out for her chains, since it might be followed up by a jungle gank. Lissandra. She has little kill pressure, but she's pretty hard to kill. She pushes fast with her Q, so don't stand directly behind minions. Use your Q shield to absorb damage when you can. Watch out for her E animation on the ground, since it usually will be followed up by a gank. It's hard to kill her at level 6 with her ultimate. Her main threat comes in teamfights when she can just RCC you if you get too close. Wait for her to use it or just go in when you know it's safe. Nico. Don't stand behind minions or she'll hit her fast pace E route and follow it up with her Q. Spam your Q when you can. After level 6 you should poke her down and all in her when you can. She can be tricky with her W jukes. If she ever randomly engages on you, just be ready to Riftwalk out. Vladimir. He's a Matterless champ with HP sustain from his Q. You can spam Q on him while it's up, back off when it's down. Don't let him get his 2 stacked Q on you. Wait for it to time out or when he uses it on minions. It's hard to kill him after level 6 when he has his pull up. You can Riftwalk anytime he ults you and Q shield to absorb the damage and just wait for his ult to expire before you decide to go back in. Vel'Koz. Heaps of poke, so dodge and absorb damage with your Q shield. Don't let him get 3 stacks off from his abilities. The true damage will chunk you for quite a bit. Farm safely. After 6, if he ever misses his W knockup, go in for a hard trade or all in him. You can cancel his ultimate with your Q. Victor. He will out trade you before 6. Farm, play safe and try to dodge his E laser. At level 6 you can Riftwalk and go for hard trades if he ever misses his E. You should use your Riftwalk to avoid his W stun and ult damage when you can. Seraph. Plenty of poke from a safe distance makes it hard to ever trade with him. Use your Q whenever you need to absorb his damage. He's all skill shots, so you'll win this lane if you can dodge most of them. You can safely go for hard trades on him after 6 if he ever wastes his stun. Zoe. Watch for her long range Qs. Don't stand too close to minions when she Qs because of the splash damage. Careful of her E sleep or she'll chunk you for 70% HP when she follows it up with the rest of her damage. Pay attention to her W spell under her health bar as she'll use that in the next fight. Don't stand too close to walls and try to have vision around them since her E travels longer when traveling through walls. Level 6 you should be fine to poke and Riftwalk in when she misses her E. Hard matchups. These mostly include AD champs. Your 15% reduced AP damage from your passive and your Q shield are useless against these guys. Aatrox, very hard to lane with. His Q range with his E will catch you out unless you play extremely passive. I suggest maxing E first since your Q shield is useless and his ability spam will stack up your E pretty fast. The slow from your E will also help you get away. Even when you reach 6, his ultimate will make him unkillable and you'll usually find yourself Riftwalking away. Solid defensive items are to rush Ninja Tabi's. You can then buy Zhonya's after Roa and Tear. Hopefully he pushes so you can farm safely. Bait out his Q by standing next to minions, so then he at least pushes the wave. Irelia, if she hits her E stun, she can kill you. Dodge her stuns and you'll be okay. If she gets a kill on you, she'll likely snowball the lane. She spams Q in lane to farm, so your E will stack up fast. Don't stand too close to low HP minions, as she'll use them to jump to you and auto you. Spam Q and E when you can, and W if she gets too close. After 6, just don't Riftwalk in, since she can turn on you with her aura and all in you. Your best bet to kill her after 6 is to poke her down and wait till she's missed her stun or her Q is off cooldown, which is pretty rare. Lucian, very rarely played mid, but it may come up when you first pick Kassadin. He will push the lane if he decides to Q through minions. He'll harass you heavy under tower if he pushes. A lot of his damage comes from his double auto passive, so do all you can to avoid it. Extremely tough without a gank. Start Doran's shield, take TP, rush Ninja Tabi's, good luck. Talon, watch out for his return W. If he gets 2 stacks from his W, he will dash in with Q and auto attack you to activate his passive, which does a lot of bleed damage early on. He can literally burst you with Ignite if you're around 80 HP, so only trade from safe range and when his W is down. At level 6 he has potential to burst you as well. Rushing Ninja Tabi's is a solid choice. You can get an early Seekers as well, but it will slow your Roa build. Yasuo, max E since he can't win wall it, unlike Q. Also your AP shield is useless. He spams abilities in lane so you'll stack your E fast. Play passive and just farm. At level 6 you could Riftwalk to dodge tornadoes. Try to poke him before you ever decide to go for a hard trade or all in. Ninja Tabi's are a great choice for boots. Zed, play safe and avoid his main trade combo from his W shadow. When his shadow is down, you need to harass him with your combo. Try to stand behind minions so his Q damage is reduced. At level 6, you should only Riftwalk into him if he's just used his Q and Shadow. If he ever decides to randomly ult you, you can just Riftwalk to safety. Early game. This stage of the game depends on the enemy laner as well as your experience with Kassadin. Certain matchups, such as AD champs, will make it impossible to win trades, so playing passive and picking up any CS is your best bet. Despite his general weak laning phase, Kassadin still does well against certain AP champs. Don't be afraid to take Ignite and constantly poke with Q in these lanes. At level 6, your kill potential is pretty high. However, your Riftwalk is still at a 6-second cooldown, so make sure you go in when you know where the enemy jungler is. Look to gank if your laner plays too passive. Look for 2v2 skirmishes and go for picks when you can. Your dive potential is pretty good too, so go for it when you can take objectives. Dragons and Herald fights are in your favor. You can position aggressively with the option to go in or simply back out with Riftwalk. Mid game, you have quite a few options. Picking up farm in side lanes is pretty safe. Manage your Riftwalk mana carefully by pushing waves and also having enough to escape or fight if you need to. If your team is behind but you find yourself ahead, this is your best option. Push hard. Try to take towers. If you get ganked, decide whether to back out or even all in the enemy if you have enough damage. With all this pressure on you, your team can try to win fights with a numbers advantage, assuming you force more than 2 enemies towards you, or maybe they can even take objectives. If you've taken TP, you can always join your team when a fight breaks out. If your team is ahead, I would recommend grouping. You have so much potential to one-shot squishies and clean up fights. Sometimes, if your team has no engage, you will have to do it yourself. Riftwalk in and E to damage and slow enemies, plus get as much damage out as you can with everything else. Then stopwatch or Zhonyas for safety. Make picks on any squishies who are out of position by one-shotting them. Late game. After level 16, you'll have around 1 second CD on your Riftwalk. Your mobility, damage and survivability at this stage is insane. You've reached the strongest point of the game. Most of mid game pretty much applies to late game. You always have potential to backdoor with your Lich Bane damage, so keep this in mind. It may be a little bit challenging to burst squishies since there will be plenty of GAs and Zhonyas to get through. Your experience with Kassadin will determine how well you do. Go for the main threats. Some situations are just not safe to go in, just do what you can to peel for any squishy immobile ADCs. Since you're Kassadin, the enemy team will constantly have their eye on you. Watch out for any CC that will stop you. Sometimes you can just walk back and forth to threaten and zone the enemy, forcing them to be useless.
Silence!
Kassadin requires more game knowledge and experience rather than mechanics to shine. Knowing your limits of how much damage you output, plus how much damage you can take, will be the key to success with Kassadin. Master his weak laning phase and you'll reap rewards mid to late. If you're motivated to play Kass from this guide, or you simply enjoyed it, give this video a like so I can see how many people are interested. If you want to see more of these guides, make sure to subscribe and press that bell icon so you're instantly updated. Comment below what champ you want to see next. If I missed something, let me know too. I'm Zoose and I'll see you guys in the next video.